In this problem, we are given the value of sine theta, which is negative 3 over 5. And it's also given that theta lies in the third quadrant. We need to find the value of the remaining 5 trig functions. Let's begin. Since we are provided with the value of sine theta, we can use this to immediately obtain the value of cosecant theta. Cosecant of theta, that's because it's the reciprocal of the sine function. So we have 1 over sine theta, so that's going to be negative 5 over 3. Fine. Now let's try to find out the value of cosine theta, because we know that cosine theta, so let's write it down. We know there's a trig identity, cosine squared theta plus sine squared theta. So this is equals to 1. So if we substitute the value of sine theta with negative 3 over 5, then solving this equation, we can obtain the value of cosine theta. That's what we are going to do now. So cosine squared theta plus, in place of sine squared theta, we're going to have negative 3 over 5 whole squared equals to 1. So let's solve this here. So cosine squared theta will be equals to 1 minus the negative 3 whole squared, so that's going to be 9 divided by 5 squared, so that's going to be 25. So cosine squared theta will be equals to 25 minus 9 over 25. So cosine squared theta will be, so 25 minus 9, that's 16. So 16 over 25. We'll take the square root on both sides. So cosine theta is going to be equals to plus or minus, the square root of 16 will be 4, square root of 25 will be 5. Now here we see that there are two values of cosine theta, a positive 4 over 5 and a negative 4 over 5. But we'll have to consider only one value of cosine theta here, since it's clearly mentioned that the theta lies in the third quadrant. So let's try to understand what does it mean. So a Cartesian plane is divided into 4 quadrants. So when we go from right to left in the anti-clockwise fashion, so we have first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant. So the mnemonic to remember this is ASTC. So ASTC means in the first quadrant, A means all, so all trig functions are going to be positive. Then in the second quadrant, S represents all the sine and cosecant functions are going to be positive and rest are going to be negative. In the third quadrant, we have a T. T means a tangent or a cotangent function. So these two are going to be positive and rest are going to be negative. And finally, in the fourth quadrant, we have C, which means the cosine or the secant function, they are going to be positive, else everything else is going to be negative. Now clearly it's mentioned here that we are in the third quadrant. So in the third quadrant, we see that only tangent and cotangent are positive, rest are negative. So our cosine function can take only a negative value. So cosine of theta, that's going to be equals to negative 4 over 5. Since we have cosine theta, we can also find out the value of secant theta. That's because secant theta is the reciprocal of the cosine function. So reciprocal of negative 4 over 5, that's going to be negative 5 over 4. So we have obtained the value of cosecant and secant theta. We can use sine theta and cosine theta to find out the value of tangent theta. Let's do that. So tangent theta, we know that tangent theta is defined as the ratio of sine theta to that of the cosine theta. So we will use the value of sine theta, which is negative 3 over 5. So we have negative 3 over 5 divided by cosine theta. Cosine theta is negative 4 over 5. So solving this, we're going to get positive 3 over 4. So this is going to be the value of tangent theta. And then this is going to be a positive value because we are in the third quadrant where the tangent and the cotangent functions are positive. And now that we have the value of tangent theta, we can immediately find out the value of cotangent of theta, because cotangent of theta is the reciprocal of the tangent function. So reciprocal of 3 over 4 is going to be 4 over 3. So we have successfully obtained the remaining trig functions. So let's note each of them. So thus, whenever sine theta is negative 3 over 5 and theta lies in the third quadrant, then tangent of theta will be 3 over 4. Cotangent of theta will be 4 over 3. Secant of theta is negative 5 over 4. Cosine theta is negative 4 over 5. And cosecant of theta will be negative 5 over 3.